Welcome to Haunted Homebodies, where Halloween isn't just a day, it's a lifestyle. I'm Ashley.
And I'm Sarah, and we're your guides through the delightfully dark corners of comfort horror.
I don't even remember when you texted me, but you added me to your family plan on Apple TV. Thank you. We're now officially family members. I don't know if we can...
I don't think I told you, but Evan got a notification as well when I added you into our Apple TV family, and he was like so delighted by it.
Oh my God. Well, I was really excited. It felt like kind of like a mini adoption ceremony. And the reason you did this, I honestly have never even considered subscribing to Apple TV. I think Courtney wanted me to watch Ted Lasso a while back when she had a free subscription, and then you got this like free trial subscription and recommended the show to me. What did you describe it as?
It was Twin Peaks meets Parks and Rec. Somebody else on the internet called it that.
Yeah. It's not an original description, but it is like very accurate. So the show is called, I want to call it Widow's Peak.
Me too. Every time.
Widow's Bay.
Widow's Bay. Yes. And I like Twin Peaks meets Parks and Rec sounds like the most insane combination.
Right.
But it somehow like that is the vibe. But I would add plus Jaws.
Yes.
The mayor and the choices he makes, it's like very Jaws vibes.
Totally. And I can't tell you if I like him or not, which I enjoy. Like, I think he's a good complex character where you're like kind of rooting for him, but also like this guy is just like not getting it. But he's getting like punished plenty.
Yeah, well,
like
also,
he's going through it.
It's so interesting because he's like such a dick to everyone who he works with and a bunch of the townspeople that he's mayor of. But simultaneously, I'm like, I get it. Those people are so frustrating.
Really annoying. Yeah, the characters are fantastic. I told you it was also giving me the Fog vibes, which doesn't mean anything to you, but to other people, if you're a fan of that movie, which many cozy horror people are, we'll cover that at some point, and then we'll have to talk more about the show with spoilers, because luckily there's only been a few episodes, which I'm partially disappointed. Like, I thought I was going to be able to like log on and binge this, and I got to episode 3, and I was like, Wednesday, next episode on Wednesday. So I'm watching it all along with the rest of you, but it was like an immediate like 5 out of 5 for me. It was just like I was like, oh, this is exactly like this is my alley. We're here. We've arrived. It's so good.
I already had texted you about this before you watched it, but within like the first 10 minutes of the first episode, there is this joke about witch trials.
Yes.
And I was just like laughing for minutes after and days after about this joke. Just and I was like, oh yes, like this show is for me.
It's so, it's like genuinely funny. And it's also like genuinely scary. Like there are some like moments where I was like, no.
The crossface scene. I was like the
TV scene. That was creepy too. I was hoping there was going to be something like that. I could tell. And it's just, it's so atmospheric. It's so creepy, but it's not like gory at all.
No.
But very tense. And then there's also just these like wonderful, like very Parks and Rec-esque breaks of just like comedic relief and like mundane small town life. And the island itself, like the town is like the island. This is like it's off the coast of New England. Like that's not a state, but okay, that's so broad. They allude to it being like they talk about like Martha's Vineyard and Nantucket. So I'm guessing it's supposed to be just this like third mysterious undiscovered kind of Massachusetts island, but like they're not explaining that enough, and it's like totally fine. But it's very cute and charming, but also like kind of creepy. I'm like, I would totally, if this place was real, I would be on the next ferry. We would be all about it.
The show feels a little bit like it was inspired by our podcast. It fits our vibe so well.
I love it. So here's our endorsement. Go watch Widow's Bay, not Widow's Peak. Don't search for that.
That's already have a plan for our next many episodes, and it's not going to fit in. So this was it. You've got it. I like have this funny feeling we're not going to be able to contain ourselves, and there's going to be some bonus episode about this or something. Like,
we'll see.
It's so good.
If either of us can like hang on to like an ounce of energy and health, we'll record another episode.
I should not wish additional episodes upon us, given our current state.
We are struggling. I know this is totally new and different, but we're struggling over here. let's get on with our episode. Look, I opened up the notes for the absolute wrong episode. Okay. So
I would have loved if
today,
you just like went into something
I
totally
know. And you're
wrong. That
like,
would have
yeah,
been
we did that. It was
delightful.
last week's episode. So
Yeah.
I'm at least with it enough to know that I was on the wrong one. Okay.
Great.
So we're back for another Haunted Tunnels episode, another super random, super fun little theme. And today we're throwing it back actually to, I couldn't even remember if this was still when I was solo podcasting or if this is when you joined me for the
I'm
creepy
pretty
medical
sure we did
it
one
together.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But neither of us can remember, so it's going to seem new to both of us. I was reading through my notes and I was like, one, like these aren't good. So sorry. And two, yeah, I was like, I don't remember recording this. I don't remember if you were there. I don't remember anything about it. It was right around the cusp of like when things switched over. So that podcast doesn't exist anymore. So I'm recycling it. And I remember recording this for it was like kind of a creepy medical history podcast and thinking like, oh, I wish I could go more into the hauntings, but like, I don't want to put off the people that are like here for like the medicine and the science. So today I got to just like throw in a whole bunch of the little ghosts. Like I was just like, oh, there's a haunted tunnel and the place is haunted and everyone says it's haunted. And that was it. And today I'm still basically going to say that, but just like with a few more anecdotes. So
I love it. Good. I want to hear about the ghosts.
Yes. As is customary, though, we're going to start with the history and then go to the hauntings because we both love the history too. So I'll try to deliver this in a little bit of a. I have no idea what the end of that sentence was. Anywho, I had to take a couple of Benadryl yesterday and I swear to God, all day today, I was like, my cognitive abilities have slowed tremendously. They're actually like a lot better than earlier, which is not great.
I just recently found out what it is that Benadryl does.
What is it? I don't even know.
So as an antihistamine, what it means is that it like stops your histamines from doing what they're supposed to do, which I didn't know was a thing. Your histamines are like what keep you awake throughout the day.
Yes. Yep. So we were going to record last night and then I was like, yeah, it's not going to happen. I think I said my words were like, I'll be too impaired. It's like, I would just know when I take one, I'm very sleepy. I took two and I kind of felt okay. I think because like I was having like such a strong allergic reaction. Okay. And then like I woke up this morning and I was like, uh-oh. Like, it's still in there. Anywho, we're here. We're trying our best. So today, what minute are we on? We're getting into it. Okay, we're not doing it. So today we're going to be talking about the Waverly Hills Sanatorium, which is located in Louisville, Kentucky, and I am looking forward to Evan's feedback on that.
See, this one's mine. This one's my pronunciation that I know, and you did great.
Thank you.
You did great.
Best. I hope I don't have to say that again. Louisville.
I would just give it like a little bit more of like a vowel at the end.
Louisville. Okay.
Yeah,
I got not too bad. Not too bad.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's orient ourselves for anyone not as familiar with U.S. geography. So we are in the US of A. We're going towards the southeast corner, and we are flying all the way back to the year 1910. So around this time, we've talked about tuberculosis before, have we? I don't know. We've talked about like plagues. I don't remember what was going around in like our Donner Party days. That was before this,
question.
Right?
That would require my brain to think of a difference between tuberculosis and other old-timey diseases, it does not differentiate.
So it's old-timey, but it's also like still around. We still have to worry about this. We still have to take precautions, and it's very serious even to this day. It's not like we've got a handle on it. It's much more survivable, but it's still like a very serious disease for many people. And so tuberculosis was starting to kick around. For whatever reason, Kentucky was hit like super hard with it. Super, super hard. And so they were like, we literally need to build a facility to just help the people with tuberculosis. They kind of were getting the sense that like possibly this was, being passed on from like, people being in close quarters. So the hope was that if people could then go to this facility and kind of like stay and live in this facility, possibly recover. They didn't really know how to treat it at the time, but then at least it wouldn't spread and like eradicate full-on families as we've seen with other old-timey diseases that would frequently happen. So It was a very serious problem in the 1900s, the early 1900s, I should say. We just wrapped up the late 1900s not too long ago. It was actually the leading cause of death in the United States at the time. So this was a big problem. And just to give tuberculosis its due, we got to pay it some respect, I suppose. This little bacteria bastard. So it I call it TB. That's kind of what we call it on the, medical streets. It was previously known by other nicknames though, including the White Plague and
Ew.
consumption.
Oh, right.
Yes, this is consumption. That's what they were calling it. They weren't calling it
Yes.
tuberculosis back in the day. Consumption sounds so old-timey.
Yes, it does.
So old-timey. Like if you watch a movie set around this early 1900s era and people are coughing up blood, they have like their little kerchief and they're like,
Yes.
and then they're like, oh no. Yeah, that's consumption / TB. So it's a bacterial disease, and it's actually one of the older infectious diseases known to civilization.
Oh, scary.
Yes, civilization. So they have found tuberculosis bacterium on Egyptian mummies dating back to 3000 BCE. Wild.
That's insane.
Yes. So
Wow.
TV has been around much longer than we have. So that is why I'm like giving it a little bit of respect.
Sure.
And it's awful. So if you get TB, actually, if you get exposed to TB, a big chunk of people, like, nothing happens. Like, as a healthcare worker, we have to get screened. And sometimes people just come back positive and you find out that you had TB and it just was like nothing ever happened. But you just like had like a latent disease.
Terrifying.
Yeah, it's happened to like someone I know. They just like didn't know they were exposed to it and just had it. And so like now every time they get a job, they have to do a chest X-ray to make sure it hasn't
contagious if you like don't show symptoms.
I'm not sure. I don't think so. But you do have to. I think it can like what's the scientific word? I'm like in the medical field and I'm like when it awakens, like it can like activate. So they have to get checked and like if you get a chest X-ray to make sure that like it's not, they don't actually have it. Because like once it's like you'll just keep testing positive like forever.
Oh,
it's one of those.
Yeah.
It's just it's the whatever antibodies. I hope Steve, my brother-in-law, doesn't listen to this one. I'm like, the bodies and the bacteria and the antibodies and stuff. Okay, anyway. So the people who do get TB, this is kind of how it goes. You get this chronic cough that may be bloody, as I mentioned. You start losing weight, you're sweating, you have a fever, severe fatigue, loss of muscle, among other things. And then as it progresses and you get towards the end stages, you start to get in these really sunken in features, swollen extremities, diarrhea, and a rattling breathing pattern called the death rattle.
Yeah,
it's bad.
No,
it's bad.
Thank you.
I put a little note in here ask you if you ever saw the movie The Moulin Rouge. You must have.
Obviously, when you first started talking about coughing up blood on a handkerchief, that's the first thing I thought of.
Yeah.
I've seen Moulin Rouge so many times.
There was a moment where Courtney and I like just couldn't stop watching it and talking about it and singing the songs. I know. I want to rewatch it, but like I don't know. It's one of those things that was such a of the moment that now watching it kind of feels wrong. Like I'm just gonna be like too nostalgic for that or something. I don't know.
I kind of feel like when you visit, if we can tear ourselves away from watching cozy horror, we should try Moulin Rouge.
Yeah, we'll try it. I'd be if I don't think I should watch it alone, I guess. Like I feel like I need to watch it with like you or Courtney. Like I would just be like sad and lonely. Like where are my friends? Okay, so we now know that tuberculosis is in fact airborne and it's spread through things like coughing, sneezing, spitting. Don't spit on people. Definitely not on purpose, but that does happen. So it's like spread the same way that COVID is spread. So we all are very familiar, or should be, with how that happened. Of those infected with TB, as I mentioned, less than 10% of the cases turn into actual active TB. Like you may just have it and have no idea. But if you do get TB, the active version, it was like a very high probability at this time that you were going to die. So it had like an 80% or so mortality rate. So it was very scary. As we saw in Moulin Rouge, spoiler alert, it ends in absolute tragedy. Why did we ever like this movie? It's like the saddest ending ever.
I used to love sad movies though. I don't know what that says.
You did. You used to really like A Walk to Remember, and you'd be like, do you want to watch it? And I would be like, no, I still have not seen it to this day. And I think it's the right choice.
What's wrong with me?
You just like a secret sad boy. Like, are you okay? Should we talk about it?
Oh.
All right. So we get the gist. TB was happening. It was very bad. And they were like, we need to build a whole like village to take care of this. So they were trying to figure out the right location to build this facility. Because like I said, they wanted it to kind of be like a little out of the way. They didn't want to be like right in the thick of things. So you're just putting all these sick people together right next to all of the not quite sick people. So they also had this vision, I think, to like form some sort of campus, which is like what it eventually came. It just started with a building and then it became like almost its own town. It had like its own zip code, its own post office. Like it was its own very own little world, which was kind of a thing in the early 1900s. Like a lot of mental health, like psychiatric inpatient facilities. This is like generous, making them seem like what a great thing. But it was this kind of like campus environment where a lot of the staff were not great, but a lot of them were, and they like lived, worked there. Like it was like their whole life was there too. So just was this very like self-contained environment. And the initial construction of the Waverly Hills Sanatorium was completed in 1924. As I mentioned, just many people were getting TB, so they just kept building like more buildings to try to accommodate more and more people. Overcrowding was a huge issue like across the board in America. It's like once they built these facilities, they just were like almost immediately overflowing with people. So many people were getting TB. It just was like more and more and more. So they kept trying to build more and more buildings. Something that is we can't ignore when we're talking about this era in U.S. history is I read that they actually made multiple buildings and kind of had this one little segregated building for any Black patients and kept them completely segregated for the entirety of the time that Waverly Hills was open. And of course, there were like fewer available beds, fewer services, poor staffing. It was often just like Black people willing to work with the Black patients, just like a lot of really sad racist things happening. So I feel like we shouldn't ignore that part of history because that was real and happening and not that long ago. We're just so disappointing as a country still. Okay, so let's talk about how the sanatorium even functioned. Like, what were we doing for people once they arrived? This was supposed to be, like I said, like a healing center. And some of the more conservative treatments, like, actually sound kind of not bad. I'm like, should we check in? Like, is this what we need? So, they felt that a combination of fresh air, heliotherapy, which is exposure to sunlight or like real or artificial, a healthy diet, and like bed rest was the way to cure it. And I was like, excellent.
I just love that there is a theme on this podcast of you basically asking for someone to lock you up.
I'm like, please just like put me in a place where I can just like get some fresh air and like have no responsibilities and like, sure, a little bit of sunlight. They did, I will say, take this to an extreme. So it was like rain or shine or snow. I didn't find them, but there are, I guess, pictures of people just like outside in their beds, just like under snow.
Oh, no, that doesn't sound like it was helping.
But in my mind, I'm like, it's like a sunny day. It's like the weather we're having here in Massachusetts right now. It's like 75. It's sunny. I've got a little light blanket when it gets breezy, and I'm just chilling. Just chilling. Don't tell me this doesn't sound appealing to you, too. Okay. So, yeah, so far, not so bad. And the primary building actually sounded like kind of lovely too. It just had sun decks that had beds on them for the patients. These like big open windows, they just kept open kind of like all of the time to just like let the fresh air in and out. But we are talking about medicine and we are talking about the early 19th century. So naturally, we're going to have some more extreme treatments that are absolutely heinous. So get ready.
No.
This is a horror podcast, okay? So the first one we're going to talk about is called the artificial pneumothorax. So this was a procedure in which they intentionally injected air into the pleural cavity, into like the space between like the lung and like it's like kind of outer pouch to collapse the lung, to force it to collapse.
That doesn't sound right
No,
to me.
a pneumothorax, a collapsed lung, is a very serious issue. You like feel like you can't breathe suddenly, and then it needs to be reinflated to like help the person continue to like survive. And
It
yeah,
sounds so terrible.
yes. So their rationale was that they thought that by deflating the infected lung, it would like give it time to heal. I'm like, I don't know.
That's not how
I
that
don't know.
works.
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
like
So
bed rest for the lung.
yes, yeah.
No.
So funny. That's so true. They're just like, nobody move, including your lungs. So there was a second way that they collapsed people's lungs that sounded even worse. It was called a frenectomy, in which they there's this nerve called the phrenic nerve. So this makes your diaphragm the muscle that helps you breathe. It's kind of like this dome-shaped muscle under your lungs. They would cut the nerve, and then eventually the nerve would heal over time. The diaphragm would start working again. The diaphragm is really important. Like that is what's supposed to be doing like the primary work of your breathing. If not, you have to use all these like accessory muscles up in your neck. So you can just imagine you're sick, you're
Yeah.
coughing, and you're only using your neck muscles to breathe because your diaphragm doesn't work. Like again, it just doesn't make logical sense in
No.
hindsight. But they didn't stop there. So another procedure that they did was called a shoot thoracoplasty. I'm not sure.
I
We're gonna
believe
go with
you.
that. Thank you. So they actually removed people's ribs to permanently collapse the lung. Also, does like
Actually,
does taking like doing surgery on like a very sick person sound like a good idea?
I want to know like the mortality rates of the people they gave these treatments to.
That's a great idea. I'm assuming not good. Not good.
Yeah.
So like they're causing people like more pain, making it harder for them to breathe while they have a very serious lung infection. And then
Oh.
eventually they were like, "Oh, antibiotics." And then like people were fine. Like this is just problem was like completely solved. But we didn't know about that. So I mean, I think they should have just stuck with the like, let's get you like fresh air and like fruits and veggies thing. That like seemed good.
Yeah.
Like a little bit of sunlight, like a tanning bed.
It
And
feels like it was at least not doing more harm.
right, right. Except for
Yes.
like maybe leaving people out in the snow. Like it was just, there were a lot of questions, which we know from
Yeah.
our brief stint into studying medical history. This isn't the worst thing that happened by like a long stretch.
This is
But yes,
true.
it was
True.
basically they were just like kind of torturing people until they died rather than just like letting them die like naturally. They were
That
like,
is the way to look at it. Yeah.
yeah, unfortunately. And many people did die. As I mentioned, just the mortality rate of this,
Yeah.
there wasn't like none of this was treatment. Let's be real. Like until antibiotics were discovered, none of this was like helping people survive. Like if they survived, it was because their own immune system was able to overcome like this
Right.
really, really deadly bacteria. So the exact number of people who died at Waverly is really not known. There's a lot of debate and for some reason like a lot of inflation. So the number that's kind of like kicked around because there's like so much lore about this place because it's supposedly one of the most haunted places in the world. I didn't start off with that because I don't know how to podcast.
What haunted place doesn't claim to be the most haunted
I
place
know.
in the
Top
world?
5.
Oh, yeah.
Everything's a top 5 most haunted forest. And I'm like, who is the authority? And like, who's ranking this?
The ghosts.
Yeah, exactly. They're like submitting to Google. So yeah, the high estimate is like 50 to 64,000, which when I read, some doctor was like, I mean, it just like there just weren't enough like people for
Yeah,
that
like
many
how
people
many
to
beds did
die.
they have?
I don't know. It was a lot. It was a lot. So I think this doctor, and it's like, sorry, man, I don't remember your name, but it's probably in one of the articles that I linked. He was estimating roughly like probably upwards of like 10,000 based on how many people could be there. And like, it went up
Okay.
significantly over time. And then just like how many people are dying. Regardless, it was a lot. And because so many people were dying, They thought that it would be helpful for morale for the people who were still living to transport the bodies through something known as the death chute or the death tunnel. So,
No.
yeah, this is why it made its way into the haunted tunnel episode. So, yes, they literally had this really long, dark tunnel that I believe had sort of like a train track type system. And like the hearse would just like park at the bottom and they would just like put the body and like kind of send them down the chute to the other side.
Ashley,
Isn't that so terrifying?
that's bad.
Yes, it was like 500 feet long, like to either the hearse or the ambulance, whatever was picking them up on the other side, and then it would bring them to wherever they were being like buried or cremated.
Okay.
Yeah, that was their way to try to help keep morale up with this,
I
like
just who
imagine
is
finding that
making the
out. I
decisions
know.
here?
Then someone finds out, and then everyone knows that when you die, you just have to take a little 500-foot trip through this dark, creepy tunnel. Yeah, no big deal.
Oh.
Luckily, as I mentioned, post World War II, antibiotic use became more common, and the number of TB cases started drastically to decline, and then obviously the survival rate drastically went up. So, with that, the Waverly Hills Sanatorium became kind of obsolete. Like, there was just no need for a TB sanatorium after that because there were very few cases of TB. It was kind of just became like any other disease. Some people would get it, some people wouldn't.
Awesome.
Yeah, so, like, yay, but also, like, they're like, "Oh, what do we do with this whole campus that we built?" So, I think over time, like, I don't remember how many buildings there were, but I think several of the buildings kind of just either were closed or torn down, but there was the kind of the main building that still is actually there to this day. So, what became of the Waverly Hills Sanatorium? This isn't good. I don't know why I said that like, "Oh, here comes the good part of the story." No, no, it's bad. So, I don't know if this place was just, like, doomed from the start, but in 1962, the facility became a geriatric care center. It was very short-lived because it was closed down by the government in
Mm.
1981. Now, to be a nursing home and to be so bad that you are shut down, you have to do atrocious things, and of course they did, and of
Yeah.
course I'm gonna tell you. So, it was initially called the Waverly Hills Geriatric Center for anyone who wants to read more about this, and then they changed the name to Woodhaven Medical Service. I'm assuming it either got bought out by another company or they had to do a rebrand because they were doing such horrible
Mm.
things. They wanted to try to slide under the radar for a
Mm.
little bit longer. So, according to a newspaper article in the Courier Journal on December 15th, 1980, it stated that an investigation into Woodhaven was the most extensive in the state's history.
Oh.
Not good. Okay, so here it comes. The claims against the home were extensive and some of the most horrifying I've ever heard. That's a lot. I worked in nursing homes and it's bad. Okay, I'm going to list a few. Urine puddles in the hallway,
Oh.
patients being locked in their rooms. That is
No.
this is straight up abuse. This is like no question. This is
Yeah.
straight up abuse. Um, Patients being deprived of hydration. That actually happens at a lot of places. It's like just give people water. I don't understand why that's so hard.
Yeah.
It's just water. It's literally free.
Oh.
Being unattended for hours, also common, unfortunately.
Mhm.
Falsified medical records, extremely illegal. And here
Cool.
is the cherry on top of the disgusting sundae. I'm sorry to do this to you. There were reports of roaches found on multiple occasions in a patient's bowel movement.
No.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
Yeah. The
Mm-mm.
administrator, David Wilson, responded to this by saying, quote, "It was not a matter of dead roaches passed in the bowel movement, and somehow he felt that made it better."
I don't understand. I don't want to understand. That definitely doesn't make it better.
Nope, nope. So, yeah, they were just like the poop was just left there that the roaches like found a way to make a home there.
That's
Anyway, oh wait, no, there was
terrible.
more to that quote. Hold on. Let me try this
Oh.
again. The administrator, David Wilson, responded to this by saying, quote, "It was not a matter of dead roaches passed in bowel movement. Evidently, what had happened is the patient had had a bowel movement in the potty chair. Also, how disrespectful can you be? And
Yeah.
there were roaches in the potty chair." End quote.
Nope.
Dude.
Not better. Not better.
Also, I don't know why, but the
Ew.
name of David, I've like met other administrators named David, and like he sucked too. Okay, so good riddance to that place.
Stay out of healthcare administration, Davids.
Yes, this is how we're treating the elderly in our country. And like, I haven't heard anything that grotesque recently, but like I said, there's like similar things to that like still go on, and these places are for profit many times, and it's just so subpar, and we're profiting off of aging adults' care, and it makes me sick. So
terrible.
That place got closed down, thankfully.
Yes.
And after that, so we're in 1981, so we're getting more towards modern day, and they like didn't know what was going to become of this building. It was kind of just like we should do something. It's like this decent part of town, this nice big building. So there were a lot of considerations for what it would become next, including a paintball facility, a prison, and even at one point the location of the tallest statue of Jesus. But none of those happened. What a roundup. We're getting creative here.
For those of you who do not watch the video version of the podcast, I literally just buried my face in my hands.
Like, also the history here, and then you're like, you know what this place needs? It needs a giant statue of Jesus.
But like, and like, how is that related to like the other buildings? Like, were they gonna like house tourists there? That's
I don't know. Like, I don't know if they're just gonna. It was maybe on a hill. It's called Waverly Hills, so maybe it was they were gonna tear it down and just put Jesus there in its place. They're like, don't ignore the news articles, ignore the death tunnel.
Paintball facility totally makes sense.
Yeah, that one actually, and jail too. Like, I think that would have been a relatively easy conversion.
Sure.
But yeah, none of that panned out.
Yeah.
So basically the building was just left, and it was vandalized. It was in a state of disrepair. Even like, I think someone died there. Like, he just like fell down like an empty elevator chute or something. That sounds like a made up story, but I'm pretty sure that's real. So I apologize, rest his soul. Then in 2001, it was purchased by Charles and Tina Mattingly, and the couple purchased it and began restoring it. So this was good because it was just kind of like overrun with vandalism and just people squatting there, and just obviously was not like a safe place for people to be residing. So they basically were like, we're going to convert it kind of into like a paranormal tour location. So they did do some restoration to at least make it safe to go through. And the reason why they wanted to have paranormal tours there is because it seemed super freaking haunted. Like, super haunted.
It really should be. Yeah.
So lots and lots of dark history at this location. But now, finally, we are going to get into the reason why the Waverly Hills Sanatorium is considered one of the most haunted locations in the world. Can you believe it? Ranked top 5 by me. Yeah. It does seem actually legitimately very haunted. So let's talk about some of the activity. There's kind of like the usual stuff. We've got shadow figures. We've got doors slamming and doors shutting on their own. We've got kind of like ghoulish disembodied wails and disembodied footsteps. Now, let me be clear. If any of this happened and I was there, I would be terrified. I'm not saying that this is like NBD, just some like disembodied yelling and footsteps. Totally chill. But, it's kind of like when you talk about hauntings, it's like, okay, yeah, there's like this and this and this. They all
have this. Yeah.
Exactly. It's like all very
just
similar.
Like your starting point.
Totally. Yeah. So we've got the run-of-the-mill paranormal stuff. Then to get a little more specific at some of the hauntings there is a man in white. He's seen wandering the halls. Some think he's a former doctor, so like a man wearing a white coat. There's also a little boy named Timmy. He likes to play ball, so sometimes like a ball will just roll towards people. Sorry, this is not about Timmy. Everyone knows by now that I giggle at inappropriate times when I'm like sad or uncomfortable. The next like on my list, which is like a hearse. Okay, so there's like a ghost hearse, I guess, that mills around the back of the building. Like, people just reported seeing a hearse. I don't know how that works. But okay.
I love the soul of a car that has come back.
Yeah. I do kind of like I'm getting to I think the end of my car's life, and I'm like, "Oh, I think I'm gonna be sad about this." Like, we've been through so
Oh,
much, and it's been, like, 10 years, and I'm like, "Oh my gosh, I gotta
yeah.
get a grip here." Okay.
No, that's an appropriate thing to be sad about. You
Thank
go through so
you.
much of life in
I know.
cars.
We have and like, me and my car have been we've been some
Yeah,
places,
you
so
sure have.
we sure have. Last on my list was a woman with her wrists and arms covered in blood screaming for help. That sounds like a particularly disturbing sighting. I hope
Yes.
she is now at peace. I just want everyone to just be at peace. Like if you're gonna be
Yeah.
haunted, just like I hope you're having an okay time. But that's
Yeah,
not
like, I
always
hope
the
you're
case.
having fun with it.
Yeah, like Timmy, he's
Yeah.
like playing with his ball and he's like just kind of giggling and
Yeah.
I
Great.
just hope he's having fun. It's like when I
Yeah.
watch a sports game and I just like I hope both teams have a good time. Except for if I'm involved and then I better win or I will be very upset. Okay. So lots of reports of hearing children laughing and then lots of coughing. Like just people just
Oh,
hear someone
well,
coughing and the
yeah.
room's empty. But yeah, that makes a
Okay,
lot of sense.
sure. Yeah.
Some of the more sensitive visitors will say, kind of intuitive type people say that they have experienced pain in their rib cage and then have heard the sounds of like the painful, grotesque surgeries being performed.
No, thank you.
Yeah, hard pass on that one. I'm not going to sign up for that. I'll play ball with Timmy and maybe take a ride in the hearse, but that's it. When the building was abandoned, so like there was that period of time where like there was no one in there aside from people who weren't supposed to be in there, and people who were walking by would often see like lights on. Like this place didn't have electricity.
Oh.
So that was disturbing. Um and I love kind of the creepy, but also like when the hauntings get a little charming. So I'm gonna go with this one being charming. Some visitors have reported the smell of freshly baked bread near the little dilapidated kitchens. There's like a little ghost
That
chef,
is kind of delightful.
right? Like if you're
Yeah.
gonna experience a little ghost haunting, like fresh bread,
I love
sure.
this.
Okay,
Makes
back
me
to the
wonder why
creepy.
the chef is sticking around,
Yeah, I
but,
don't know. I
mm,
know. Maybe it's
great.
just the bread. Maybe it's a bread ghost.
Maybe the chef wants to keep taking care of the other souls that are still
Oh,
there.
that's so sweet. Don't make me cry. Okay. My therapist told me today that I shouldn't go up too high on my meds because she's like, "You still want to feel things," and I was like, "You're right." Okay,
I'll
back
make
to
you
the
watch A Walk to Remember, then you'll feel
no,
things naturally.
never, never, no, no amount of meds would ever be enough for that. All right, let's get back to the creepy hauntings. There are reports of two nurses dying on the property with possible foul play, and they're both associated with room 502. Like this place just has these kind of outlandish stories that insinuate suicide, murder, extensive
Mm.
cover-ups, like very extreme stories that I both would like not be shocked if something like this happened and then was covered up, but also I'm just like this just sounds like a ghost story and like a pretty classic one at that. So um pretty much there are like no official reports of any of this. Like they're completely unsubstantiated,
And
but just like
it does scream, "We do a paranormal tour, and
yes.
we wanted to be able to point to a very specific room."
Totally, yes. So it's like room 502, and that's where all this stuff is going
Yeah.
down. Like, it's very The Shining. It was, like, giving
Yes.
me that yeah, like, the haunted
Do you
room
think
vibe.
they had a bathroom that was as great here
No,
as in The
no
Shining?
chance. I know, no chance. I still haven't
There is
rewatched
no
that scene.
better
I
bathroom.
know, I need to just look up that bathroom 'cause it's so funny. Like, love it so much. I need to know. I need to look at it. Um, so no matter what we believe about like hauntings, how much of this is legitimate, how much is this people's just like mind playing tricks on them with like all of the lore surrounding this place. There also have been reports of like kind of some aggressive like poltergeist type activity. So people have reported being hit, just being smacked,
Ew.
and there's no one there. And also having like things like fly at them, like objects either thrown at them or just like straight up poltergeist like flying around and hitting them.
Classic.
Um, this one really terrified me. On the 4th floor, there is a shadow figure that they call the Creeper, and he
Mm.
is just this big, dark, shadowy thing that just, like, literally crawls up the wall, and there was a
Oh,
picture of this thing, I was like,
absolutely not.
"Yeah." No, I can't.
Nope.
The creeper, no.
Nope.
No, I would scream and wet my pants, and that would be
I like
not stop
my
running.
ghosts to be confined to the dimensions that
Yes.
I am confined
Yes.
to.
Yes. No. No, it just yeah, no, it's so creepy. Of course, the most haunted slash creepy location that totally makes sense, like room 502, I'm like, I don't know about that.
Mm.
I would still be a little probably like, "Ew," like I'm along for the ride, but the most haunted location is, of course, the death tunnel. So in the paranormal
Yeah.
tours, due to the safety issues, I don't think they let people go down it. Maybe they do. I
It'd
can't
be
recall. I watched
lame
a
if they
video, but it was like
didn't.
3 years ago. I know. I feel
Yeah.
like it's maybe like a not everyone can go. I don't know. You have to maybe sign an extra
That
waiver or something. I really can't
yeah.
remember. People have to do their own research if they want to go down there. But you definitely just like stand at the top of it and just like stare into the darkness and see if you
Yeah.
hear anything.
Sure.
Um so yeah, that would terrify me for sure. And what people have reported while standing at the top of the death chute is hearing doors being slammed. I'm not sure that there are doors like in the tunnel, but maybe.
Hmm.
They'll hear or they'll see lights shining. That's not supposed to happen. There's no lights down there, or at least nobody turning on the
Okay.
lights. And then a few people have actually somehow, I don't quite understand the logistics of this, but have been like locked like just inside the tunnel, like had the door shut behind them and they can't get out, which I would be like, no. So
That's
people are just
terrifying.
yeah, say that there's like a little prankster ghost who just like hee hee and just like
Mhm.
shuts the door and locks them in there. Like, no, thank you. Others have reported hearing strange noises, or the distinct feeling that they are being watched. That one just gives me
It's
the
a classic
yeah.
haunting, but, like,
Yes, it
yeah.
still, like, freaks me out. The, like,
Yeah.
feeling I think we talked about it last week in the Hoosick Tunnel, that feeling of, like, just, like, someone's walking right behind you, but no one's there, like, that
Yeah.
freaks me out so much.
Mhm.
Oh, I can't stand it. And that's all I have for you on the Waverly Hills Sanatorium.
Well, I loved getting that refresher on it, even though I remembered pretty much none of it
Yeah,
from before.
same.
And really getting to dive into the haunted pieces.
Yeah, that was fun. That was fun because there's
Mhm.
plenty. I try not to like fully just scrape like people's own original experiences and kind of give like a more generalized because I'm like I feel like that's kind of like their own story
Sure. Yeah, yeah.
tell to a certain extent when it's like a really specific thing. But yeah, I mean there was just like so much and like so much just repeating like this happened to this person, this person, this person. Like it just does seem like really haunted. One of the
Yeah.
articles I linked, it was one of the person who like runs the blog was like talking about like how they went there and like something specifically happened to them and they were they're kind
Ooh.
of like interested in hauntings, but not just like a, "Oh, I'm just gonna, like, say whatever to just get, like, clicks." It was like, "Oh, wow, this place is maybe for real." So, I'd like to
Well,
go there
add it
someday.
to the list.
I'd like to go there. It's interesting because I remember reading about this, and we went over, like, several facilities that were just so horrible and such horrible things happened, and when you read through the medical part, it's like these procedures are barbaric, but they were being done with the intention of healing.
Yes.
It wasn't
Yeah.
and I guess some of the other things were too, like, some of, like, electric convulsive therapy that they did without
Right.
sedation, like, there was the treatment, where they, I guess, still on some degree felt like they were helping, but this
Yeah.
felt less like that where they were taking advantage and almost like that always had a feeling of almost like experimentation, and I guess this does
Mm.
too, but I think because there wasn't mental illness and memory issues and kind of like these people that were like these weren't people that society was trying to push aside. This was
Right.
anyone in town, who still had family and people would still occasionally come visit them. So it wasn't like there were just these
Yeah.
anonymous like prisoners when they would experiment on them because they're like,
Yeah.
we don't care about that. And that's like horrible
Was
and wrong,
these
but
people who were probably gonna die and they were trying anything they could think
anything.
of to save
Exactly,
them.
exactly, and it was like
Yeah.
anyone could have gotten this disease and many, many people were susceptible to it. So, like, in that sense, it didn't have, like, that same degree of darkness. So I just found it interesting
Yeah.
that this place is, like, so much more notorious in the hauntings than, like, some of these other places. Like, all of these places are just like, "Yeah, there's ghosts," and you're like, "Sure.
Yeah.
Sure." But this place is,
Whatever
like,
you say.
supposed to be, like, one of the most, and it's pretty consistently cited at that, and, like, a lot of people are like, oh yeah, like something happened when I was there. Something happened when I was there. And it's like all of these kind of like firsthand accounts of something happening or like seeing something. So I don't know. Maybe they did need a giant statue of Jesus there. Maybe the guy was right. We would have avoided all of this. I don't know. But,
the only way.
Yes, next week we are wrapping up our Haunted Tunnels theme, I believe. Yes, we are. So we are going to be talking about tunnels that are not haunted, and a movie that is very campy but not at all horror. I just really wanted to talk about it because it's fun. And that is The Warriors. So you haven't watched it yet, right?
I have not. This will be a first for me. I can't wait.
Yeah, I am excited to hear your thoughts. It's very campy and silly, and it's a quest movie, and I love a good quest movie. So excited to talk about it next week.
Me too.
All right, we'll see you there.
Bye.
Bye. Warrior.
Thanks for listening to another episode of Haunted Homebodies. Make sure you like and subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts.
And remember, when in doubt, just stay home.